Greetings, Upstanders. Dr. O here, and many people have used the term genocide to define so many atrocities that have taken place across the globe historically and up until the present. People have used it to define the Holocaust, Congo, Rwanda, Armenia, Gaza, Trail of Tears. You can run down so many different tragedies that have happened through our history, and many people have used the term genocide to describe it. The fact of the matter is that a lot of people just use the term genocide and think that it just means a mass killing of a bunch of people. But there's actually more to the definition of genocide. And my belief is that if you're going to use a term that was actually created, you should actually know its history. If you create a word and it means a particular thing, and I go around using that term and it's not what you originally meant it to mean when you created it, then I'm doing you a disservice. The fact of the matter is the term genocide was created in 1942. This is according to the Holocaust Museum by Raphael Lemkin, who was a Holocaust survivor from Poland. And it was also published in a book in 1944 called Axis Rule in Occupied Europe. Before 1942/1944, the term genocide itself was actually not used anywhere. This was a term that was created, okay? Now, the term genocide itself is an actual legal term, and it refers to certain acts committed with the intent is an important word here, to destroy in whole, this is from the Holocaust Museum, to destroy in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. Genocide is an international crime according to the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, which took place in 1948. The acts that constitute genocide fall into 5 categories. Now, pay attention with these 5 categories because you only need one of these to be present for something to be called and considered a genocide. You don't need to have all 5 of these in place so that we're clear. First category, killing members of a group. Second category, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. 3, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. 4, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. And 5, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Only one of those things need to be present for something to be a genocide. So in you hearing this, you may think about the ways in which people who are part of indigenous communities in the United States were taken from their children. The children were taken from their communities and put into boarding schools, had their hair cut off and all of this other type of stuff. These are things that this was a forcible transfer. These children were kidnapped. And so again, when you look at these definitions, only one of them have to be present. And so it's really important that when you're looking up on the United Nations website, where you also find this information, Holocaust Memorial Museum, we also find this definition. There are many different things that can be used to be considered a genocide. And so when you talk about a genocide, whether something is or is not a genocide, make sure you're actually talking about it based on the actual facts, based on the words, because words matter. Now, of course, people have used other terms like crimes against humanity and war crimes and other types of things. There have been different levels to talk about these, but too many people are actually ignorant of the term genocide and where it came from. So now that you've been educated on what a genocide, for those who did not know, on the 5 categories that make up a genocide, now that you understand that only one of these need to actually be present for something to be considered a genocide, I want you to look at all of the things throughout history that you have said were genocides and ask yourself, were they actually genocides? Look at things that you said were not genocides and ask yourself the question, are they actually genocides, past and present? Now, some people will say it doesn't really matter whether we're talking about war crimes or we're talking about crimes against humanity, whether we're talking about genocide, it's all the same thing. Not really, because labeling something a genocide calls for different types of international interventions and actions. And that's why so many people are hesitant to call things that take place across the globe a genocide, because there's certain levels of responses that are supposed to come from that. But I believe that facts matter. And really, at the end of the day, we need to understand this idea of what it means to talk about the international crime of genocide. So, to quote the great philosopher and scholar Biggie Smalls, if you don't know, now you know. What do you think? I'm also linking this article, this page in my post as well. What are your thoughts as it relates to genocide? New information, re-informing you on particular things, and how do you apply this term to what's going on in the world today now that you have a deeper definition? Let me know your thoughts. Take care, you all. Peace.